That was the best we have gotten from Disney Star Wars so far. We had stakes, we had drama, we had humor, we had emotion. Oh, wow, it was amazing. And it wasn't Rise of Skywalker. Hey, everybody, welcome to Sporking News Podcast. I am Scott. This is my channel. Like me if you like me. Don't if you don't. Subscribe if you want. Subscribe if you don't. Whatever. I ain't begging no more. So let's get on to The Mandalorian. This was episode 7, The Reckoning. As some of you guys know, if you've been to my channel before, I am not the biggest fan of anything Disney Star Wars yet. I did like Rogue One. I'm sorry. I did like Rogue One. I am a Rogue One apologist. I think it was a good movie. But after that, The Mandalorian is the best we've gotten since. And this episode is the best of The Mandalorian. Is it good enough where I'll say, oh, this is an excellent show? Not yet. I still think it's a little campy at times. I think it's a little for the price tag that they paid, where we're hearing anything from $12 to $15 million an episode. It doesn't have that look or the acting that I would expect from something paying that much. And I know Game of Thrones, I always bring it up, but that type of show, and I'm not talking later seasons, early seasons, but that flow, that acting, that where you feel like you are in that world. We have learned from this show, I love Bill Burr, but I felt like I was watching a guy from Boston. The episode before it, the kid who was a bounty hunter, the acting took me out of it. This episode was a little bit different. I didn't feel like any of the actors took me out of it. I think it was well acted. Deborah Chow, bravo. Both her episodes are the best so far of this season and the series so far. So let's just go over it real quick. We start off with the Mandalorian in space flying, and he gets a message from Apollo Creed. Okay, that's what I call him because I always forget that guy's name. Carl Weathers. But so Apollo Creed says, look, let's bygones be bygones. The client, so Herzog, we never find out his name. I guess he's only called the client, but great actor. I guess since Baby Yoda left, he lost his mind, kind of got really angry, brought in more stormtroopers, and has taken over the town. And Apollo Creed had his, bounty hunter guild, and he didn't worry about anybody there. It was his town. Well, the Mandalorians, all of them, destroyed, I would say, the majority of his bounty hunters. So now he is, he has to take second fiddle and maybe even third fiddle to the client. So he says to the Mandalorian, Mando, I hate that. Come back, let us kill this client, call it even. You will never have to worry about the guild again. You're an honorable man. Let's finish this. So, he's like, I got to do this, but he knows he needs a crew. So what we've all of us wanted since the beginning of the show is the building of that crew, which we thought we would get. And he first goes to that forest planet, and there's Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano, who is gorgeous and powerful. Yet she was in she was fighting a guy in that bar, and they were attached by a laser rope, and so they couldn't get away from each other. And it was not to the death, but this guy was a lot bigger than her. And yes, she took her wallops, but she put the smack down, used that laser thing to choke him out, won her money. Mando goes up to her. I need you. I need to do this. And she's like, no, I'm done. And we find out here, and we kind of got a hint before, that she is on the run from things she has done since she left the New Republic. So there's warrants or something. People are out to get her. But then he said, well, he is a ex-Imperial officer, and boom, she's like, I got it. Cause we don't know why, but she friggin' hates those guys. So she's in. So they get on the ship and they fly, and him and her start to have a conversation. Now, this is what I feel like we have been missing, because we've only had really him and Baby Yoda. Nothing gets explained. Well, she asks the questions like, this seems like a trap. Why is he doing this? And, Mandalorian realizes it's mostly most likely a trap. That's why he's bringing her. Well, won't they vet me? Yeah, well, you're with me no matter what, blah, blah, blah. So they go downstairs. She sees his weapons. And she likes his weapons. Pick anyone you want. And they're talking even more. And then all of a sudden the ship, alarms going on. Beep, 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 beep. It's Baby Yoda up in the cockpit going at a joystick or at the thing. Ha, Baby Yoda. Yay. I freaking hate that thing. So she says, look, we can't bring that kid with me, or he says it. And he's like, I need somebody to watch it. Finally, we've been saying this for episode after episode. Why this Baby Yoda, you leave it behind. It always causes trouble because you leave it behind or almost gets killed or almost gets caught. So I thought he was going to go to Tatooine again and get the woman in the landing pad. But no, he goes to Quill, who is the Knock, played by Nick Nolte. Says, I need your help, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, IG-11 comes in and Mando pulls his gun. I thought I killed that thing, Quill went and claimed it, and he explains all the claiming rights of the New Republic and fixed it. The brain was pretty much destroyed for the most part, but he was able to reprogram it and reteach it. So we find out that droids are actually taught from the beginning, and whoever teaches them, the droid has no nature, which the Mandalorian feels like the nature of that thing is evil and it's to hunt. And he says, no, the nature of the thing is whoever teaches it. So it's like a reflection or something like that, he says. And they show like a montage of him teaching it. To me, I mean, we don't know how long are in between each episode. I mean, it's what, the third or fourth episode we've seen him. So how long has it been? I mean, it looked like it took him a while to reteach this thing, but whatever. It's pouring tea. It's now a servant and a protector. That's all it is, he says. I don't think so. We'll find out. So he says, I will go, but IG-11 has to come with me. And those big fat, oh God, I'm forgetting what they're called, horse things he brings with him. The three of those. And he's like, fine, but that thing, IG-11, stays on the ship. So they go and they land and they meet Apollo Creed. And he has a detail with him, and he's shocked that the Mandalorian has a detail with him. So there's a little bit of, who's who, who's what, people looking at each other, and they start to walk. He explains, this guy's taking over the town again, blah, blah, blah. They have to camp overnight. I probably am skipping stuff. Oh, in the ship, that's a good part. In the ship, the Mandalorian is arm wrestling Cara Dune. And they're, it looks like, they're arm wrestling. So they got those faces. Baby Yoda feels that Cara Dune's trying to hurt Mandalorian. So he force chokes her. And the Mandalorian's like, no, she's my friend. He force chokes her. He knows how to force choke. It makes no sense. And my friend Final Death Star said that. If you don't know who Final is, please check out his channel. He's on the Fourth Wave with me, a live stream we do every Wednesday and Saturday night on author Stephen Walton's channel. He said something great. It would have been better if they're doing that and Baby Yoda gets all anxious and starts maybe crying and it happens. It's more that he doesn't know how he did it. It's just like a reaction that it happens. Not that he knows how to force choke. So we don't know enough about this species yet, but I mean, how did he learn how to force choke? Really? That kind of pissed me off. And then you get some back and forth with Quill and Cara Dune because she hates the Empire and finds out that he worked for the Empire while he was an indentured servant for 3 lifetimes of a human, and he bought his way out, and he knows that just by looking at the baby, it is not a clone. I don't know if he says it there. I'm pretty sure he says it there, that this baby was not made. And that's how she finds out, because he worked in those places where the Empire made clones. Which I thought was setting up for Rise of Skywalker. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm thinking I'm wrong on that. So now they landed, met Apollo Creed, they're walking and, talking back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Now they're camping overnight. I thought a very cool thing, because this is a lava planet, instead of rocks to make instead of wood to make the fire, they're using lava rocks, and they're cooking like a sheep type thing they saw. And they're talking, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these bat pterodactyl like creatures come out of nowhere and start attacking them, scoop up one of those, I can't remember the names of them, animals that Quill brought, takes it away. He's freaking out. They're all shooting. Everybody's missing. Takes one of the bounty guys away, the bounty guild guys away, cuts Apollo Creed, injures him, tries to grab the Mando. They shoot one, he burns one, and they fly away. Now Apollo Creed is poisoned. He may die. Cara Dune's trying to save him. She can't, and Baby Yoda force heals, which, myself, Ryan, a few others said that's why Baby Yoda is in this series, to prep for the Rise of Skywalker, which is true. He showed force healing, and we've heard from the leaks that she does that too. And that's where she learned it, but it was from the video games too. So it is canon. But they wanted to show it in this show, so it doesn't look like the Rise of Skywalker just created it. Next, we're walking the next morning, and Cara Dune and the Mandalorian are like, let's keep a close eye on these guys. I don't trust them. Yeah, I don't trust them either. And Apollo Creed's ahead of them, 2 guild members behind that are left. And he turns around, Apollo Creed, and kills both his guild members. And he explains that the deal was, I was going to, capture you, kill you, capture the baby, bring it to the client. I had to, they're overrunning, but now what we could do is I'll pretend like I caught you. We'll bring Baby Yoda. Mando says no. Baby Yoda's going back to the ship with Quill. Take the baby back. We'll bring the egg thing with us that looks like the baby might be in it. Quill, you go back and start protocol for defense. Nothing's going to get through that. That's on this planet. Fine. He starts taking off on the thingy. Oh God, I'm so mad. I can't remember the name. If you remember, put it in the comment below. I'll remember the minute I stop editing. So they go to the town, and there's speed racing troopers that were from Return of the Jedi, which was kind of cool. And what I liked is they all have like dirty uniforms, because the Empire's gone, and they're not, they're more kind of mercenary, like holding on maybe for something that was once the Empire with the client. And Cara Dune's pretending like she caught the Mandalorian. She covers up her tattoo that shows that she was with the rebellion. They bring him in with the egg to Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog is one of the best actors. He is the best actor in this show so far, until we see Esposito. But he looked tired in this one, and I don't know if that's how he was playing it. And another thing is, why is he the only German? I don't get that. So he says, oh, great job buying him. Let's have some libations. What the beautiful thing the Veskar is, and he talks his German talk. I won't try it anymore. He always has something kind of cool to say. They sit down, and he does talk about how, do you feel safer since the Empire is gone? Wasn't it safer? Wasn't there more order when the Empire was around? And he has a point. On the Outer Limits, it seems that it's the Wild West. The rebellion still, the New Republic still doesn't have control after 5 years. I kind of find that a little hard. Like, so everything they've done yet is not done enough in the Outer Realm. It's at least not under control yet. And okay, whatever, 5 years, that's a long time, but I guess they don't have control yet. So he talks about that. The Empire was better. It was safer. Is it better without the Empire? Can I see the baby? And he says, and he's like, he's sleeping. Well, I won't wake him, but he gets a call. And in this bar, he goes to the actual bar and opens up his briefcase, and it's a hologram of Giancarlo Esposito. I think his name is Gus from, from that show, Breaking Bad. And I should have notes. And his name is Grand Moff Gideon. And he's like, do you have the package, the baby? And he's like, yes, it is sleeping. And he's like, are you sure? And he's like, before he can answer, boom, hole. They show a hole blasted through his chest and lit up. laser, blaster shots. Everyone but the Mandalorian's crew, of course, is dead. You look out the window, death troops, the black stormtroopers. And what I thought was cool was this: that they were lined up, kind of like in Rogue One. They were all lined up, the black uniforms, and you see on their guns, like at the very end, you see that oxidation from like fire, like blasts, which I thought was cool. And the rest of the gun was black, and they were wearing black, and it was shiny. And all of a sudden, stormtroopers start piling out of a transport, and it's like a battalion, all very shiny, all new compared to what the client had, which were rundown stormtroopers. This group of stormtroopers, believe the Empire is still active. Whoever they work for, is in control. And out of all of a sudden, a TIE fighter comes down, and the way its wings fold, they like bend in half, fold flat, and he lands. I thought that was dope. So this is Grand Moff Gideon. He comes out and he's like, I want the baby. And he's like, well, you can come in and get him or something. He's like, I know he's not with you. You do not know what you have, and you do not know how important he is to me. And while he's doing this, the Mandalorian's on his comms like a moron. Quill, run, get the baby out of here. So Quill hits that freaking thing and he starts flying. What I didn't like, though, is that how did these guys on the racers know to find him? Like, okay, we triangulated where he was. Like, how did you find Quill? Yes, you got the communication, but how did you know where he went? It's a big planet. How were they able to find him? Well, they catch up to him. And you see him racing, and it goes back and forth from the Mandalorian being trapped to Quill. And the next thing you see is him screaming for Quill, 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 and he doesn't answer. But the door is opening up to the ship, and Quill's going real fast with Baby Yoda. Right here, I expected IG-11 to come out, kill the troopers. But when they flash from the bar back to Quill, his ride is dead. He is smoking, looking dead. But they first show Baby Yoda, and I thought it was dead. And I was like, oh my God, they did it. Well, the stormtrooper picks up Baby Yoda and takes off, and Quill is dead. Unless they change it. He looked dead. And pretty much it ends there. So we finally got stakes. We finally got him separated from Baby Yoda, which we wanted. We talked about in the Mandalorian Roundtable on Chris Knight's channel, the 3,000 review. I'm sorry, Chris, I forgot the name of it. 3,000K review, but it's the Mandalorian Roundtable on Chris Knight's channel. Check it out on Sunday nights with myself in Comics Division and a couple other guys. But we've discussed this on the Fourth Wave. I kept saying we didn't have any stakes. No one dies. You never think someone's going to die. And I really didn't think anybody, I thought he'd make it to the ship. He didn't. He got killed. It was awesome. Finally, someone died. And I actually felt a little something. What I believe, though, is how did Grand Moff Gideon know the baby wasn't there? I believe because IG-11 was hired by someone who I believe was Grand Moff Gideon. Maybe there was some programming still left over in him that Gideon could communicate with him and took him over. Maybe IG-11 was pretending like he didn't remember this stuff. And when they got off the ship and left him alone, he transponded this to Gideon. Maybe he didn't even know he was transponding it to Gideon. There was something in his programming and he doesn't even realize he's doing it. Because why didn't he protect him once the door opened? He's supposed to defend him and he wasn't that far from the ship. So that's a question that hopefully they'll answer in the next one. There is a part that I forgot to talk about where they almost explained the Force. So I guess Quill had knowledge of the Force. He has seen the Force, but he never actually says it when they were on the ship and talking about after Baby Yoda chokes Cara Dune. He almost says it, but then they get into that argument about him working for the Empire. I don't know. The episode was the best so far, but again, I'm not in love with it. But it is the best thing we have gotten. And all we argue about is Star Wars when we talk this show. It's not agenda politics. It's not SJW. It's not woke. It's just Star Wars. Okay. So yes, we can discuss and debate and complain and bitch at each other about plot and scenery and canon and things like that. And that's fantastic because that's what dorks do. We discuss that type of stuff. We fight with each other over that stuff. But it's not about your political views. It's not about your societal views. It's at least not in your face, and that's what the Rise of Skywalker trilogy has been. As of right now, today's opening day, the critics are destroying Rise of Skywalker. Fandom menace has been, vindicated. We are not just a small group of toxic white males bitching about women being in charge. It is the fandom is upset with what they did. They destroyed our canon. They destroyed our mythos. They destroyed everything that we loved. They destroyed Luke Skywalker. They destroyed Han Solo. So if the Mandalorian doesn't live up to my standards yet, that's okay, because it's their first season. People go through this type of stuff. I'm just glad it's Star Wars again. Tell me what you think. Comment in the, little boxes down there. Drop a little box. Please maybe hit a like, share it if you like. Really helps out the channel. Subscribe. I just hit 400 subscribers. To me, that's huge. I know a lot of people are a lot bigger, but I'm really grateful for every single person that's ever hit the button. It doesn't take much, so I appreciate it, and if you do watch my videos, there are a lot of guys out there and ladies that watch it, and I really, really thank you for supporting me. This has been really, really a joy the last 4 months. So thank you. And let's keep growing this thing. And remember, if they're calling you names like they have been, they've already lost the war, which I believe they have. Have a great day, everybody.